Hello bee people, it's Jason from Bohemia Bees. We're here in the apiary on a nice cool Sunday afternoon. Actually it's early afternoon, and we are going to inspect our big hive. This colony has done amazing. It started off as a cutout from Dryers Creek Church in Odessa, Delaware, and we had a small amount of bees. We added one of our genetic queens, one of our queens from here from the Bohemia apiary last year. The colony overwintered, started booming very early. We added a super early, we added another super. We had 4 supers on this, and it's full of bees. So let's take a look inside this colony and see what a 5-box colony looks like here at the Bohemia apiary. Hopefully we find some good stuff. So when I first pull this off, it's full of bees up here in this top super. Awesome. Oh, it's heavy. We're going to spin it off. I wish I could explain to you how heavy this thing is. Oh my goodness. Woo! All right. First frame of the 2020 season here, Bohemia apiary. Looks like that. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, fully capped. That frame, well, it's a little bit of finishing on the bottom they have to do, but for the most part, that frame probably weighs about 5-10 pounds. And if I look across, they all look like that. So one thing I do want to share with you as we do this is if you look at a colony that take a look at this colony right here. I want you to look down into the frames. Notice how far out the comb is drawn when you use 9 frames and space them. Like that a lot. It makes it so much easier to harvest. When we do our harvest video, you'll see that. So I just want to share that with everyone. We still got another 3 boxes to look at. We'll replace this box with a brand new box with new foundation in it, so they can continue to keep filling it up. This one's just as heavy. So this one is just as heavy or full. Interesting, I see a small amount of drone comb up there. Not much, but a little bit. Which is not a good sign, but we'll see. All right. We've got a swarm cell, or cell that I just uncapped. It's full of royal jelly. Very interesting. I don't know what's going on down further. Let's take a look at this next frame over here that I saw that they got brood on here. Which means there's a queen up in here somehow. Very interesting. So we've got a queen in this cell right here. They're probably looking at maybe swarming out. We're going to catch that queen. Show you how we do that. We didn't know what we were going to find in the big hive. So I take some wax off. It's my burr comb. There you go. Wax. It's a queen cage. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but we're going to get a queen, a virgin queen. Okay. So we got a little virgin queen that just came out. This is the cup. Here's the cup. I'm going to take some of this honey. I'm going to give her a little bit of honey to eat. Stick her in my pocket. We'll come back and look at her in a bit. I don't like to find brood or cells like that in the honey super. That tells me there was a queen up here at one point. Other cell at. Look, there's my queen right there, marked queen in the honey super. We're going to take her. I just pulled any of these cells off, and I'm going to move her over to one of these boxes. Saving my queen. I'll give her some other brood. This was another brood frame that she was laying on. And another one. Cells before I put them in. that's all resources on that side, and some eggs and stuff on that side. So that's the other side of her little nest that she was building. I'm going to get a piece of some resources here. Frame. That's a heavy resource frame for them. All right, so we'll get that squared away. Let's get some frames to replace back in here. Okay, so we've got some undrawn foundation frames. I'm going to check these rest of these frames real quick, look for any other cells in here. They got some cups along the bottom. I'm going to get rid of them. I'm going to put frames in here in a checkerboard. New frame, old frame, new frame, old frame. Frame, heavy. One thing I do want to do is actually swap out the one resource frame that I got, because it didn't have any pollen in it, it just had nectar. And I want them to finish that nectar. And I'll take this one, which has a ton of pollen on it, and put that in the resource hive, and put that in the new split. Okay. Let's move these around a little bit. Get 9 back in here. That will go back on the colony. I try to do this by hand, and I should just go get my tool. Okay. Let's see what's in the next hive. Next box down. Also very heavy. hope when I pull this out that it's not a bunch of brood or cells or other crazy stuff. And it is. All right. I hope you know where you're going. That's what happens when you get a queen above the queen excluder. That's what happens. Queen cells. What happened when you don't inspect the hive? I broke my own rule. I thought I was good to go. Never underestimate a bee colony. Wonderful looking frame. Another wonderful looking frame. We thought we were making honey and we're making babies. How about that? I need to get some more boxes. Looks like nectar on that one. Yep. Wonderful. This one hopefully is nectar. Yep. Nice heavy frame on the south side one. I'm not sure you all can hear me or not. I'm trying to talk loud, so I apologize. And we'll replace those with frames. All right. We're now going to replace the 5 we took out of here with more frames. I'm checkerboarding just so they have room to grow and they work on all the frames instead of just working on 2 or 3. Just a different technique, that's all. Box. Getting close to the brood box. Well, it was the brood box. Probably a honey box now. That one's heavy too, so hopefully that's all honey. A little windy again today. Sorry about that for those that don't like the wind in my video. I'll try to talk as loud as I can, but unfortunately, we can't control Mother Nature. When you work the bees, you got to work the bees. Pollen and honey. large frame of pollen, solid pollen. 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 That's interesting. An entire pollen box. There we go. Some nectar going on that one finally. So let's actually take a break from looking at the supers, and you now can't see the brood box. So I'll do my best to show you. So let's see if we can bring you on over here. Hopefully you can see that and that doesn't fall. Fear the worst here with these brood box. Fear the worst. Empty. Empty. Nectar and pollen. Not many bees. We talk about bee coverage. This is called 10% bee coverage on the combs. That's like 15%. Put the pollen to the outside. Really disappointed in this bottom brood box. They did everything up top. Wonderful looking pollen frame. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. More pollen and nectar. A frame they didn't draw out yet. They don't want to draw out, they're just kind of hanging out. Lots of nectar on that one. I had to pause for a moment because I'm hearing queen piping. This is the one in my pocket. I did just hear queen piping. Interesting. Queen piping is when there's another queen trying to locate the other queen. So we could have a 2-queen colony here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take and put this back together. I'm gonna put my queen down in the bottom box, below the queen excluder. We're going to determine, I've got other mated queens that I can put in these 2 splits that I got. We'll determine what we need to do from there, and we'll put this back together. I'd like to put a box for them to draw out on it, but I think they got plenty of boxes to draw out. I might take that last box and remove it and put an empty one on before I put it on. But let's get this back together, and then we will we'll talk about what we do at the end. Okay, so we've completed our inspection of the mega colony, and it wasn't as mega as I thought. I mean, it was still pretty big, lots of bees. There probably was, north of about 60,000 bees in here across all the boxes. And the one thing we accomplished was we understood where our queen was, what she was doing. Understood what we have in the colony. We didn't have a brood's nest down the bottom like we had thought. We actually had the brood's nest more in the middle here. The top super was full of honey, almost capped. We're gonna probably pull that here next week. These 2 had brood in them, and this one had a lot of pollen in it. It's interesting how the dynamic, and this was fairly empty. I mean, lots of pollen and nectar mixed, but a lot of empty comb. So one of the things we did was we took our queen out and we put her back down in here, below the queen excluder. Somehow she got above the queen excluder. Not sure how that happened. She was marked. She's green. She's an overwintered queen. So something happened where we didn't get that separation right. It's possible she could have left the hive for a brief moment, crawled up and went into the top. Who knows? Could have maybe slimmed down and squeezed between the queen excluder. They're not foolproof queen excluders, but that's why we like to use them, so we can try to at least create some type of a barrier to prevent that from happening. Here we thought we had 4 full supers of honey, and we probably only have about 2.5 full, maybe 3. So we put in some undrawn foundation frames in the spots we took out. And make sure that we inspect the rest of them for queen cells, put our queen in the bottom below the queen excluder. We've got 4 splits back here, solid splits with lots of bees in them. There's brood in all stages in all of them. 1, I think, or 2 of them have a queen cell that I left. But we have mated queens that we're gonna install in them, so we'll move them to the back apiary, install the mated queen, let her get used to those bees. They have to be queenless overnight, for at least 24 hours before they recognize that they're queenless. So we're gonna allow those 4 to be queenless in our back apiary. We're gonna take 4 mated queens, we'll install them in it. They'll begin to lay, take over where they left off. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on who you are, there are 3 medium splits and 1 deep split. So, we did get, some deep, 1 deep out of it. We prefer to the deeps. But if you are a medium beekeeper or keeper that likes the mediums, we have those. So we just made 3 more splits. So that's what we did. Again, the purpose of inspecting a colony is to, 1, make sure you got a laying queen and you got its queen right. 2, they've got resources and pollen, they're bringing it in. 3, there's no risk for them to leave, such as a queen cell or there's not enough space, which would encourage them to swarm out. You know, this colony was interesting. I had not touched it since I installed that queen, you know, last year, and we came through the winter. I opened it up and I just kept adding supers. I really wanted to see what it would do. The bees grew. I mean, as you can see, they utilized the full extent of the boxes to do what they wanted. She moved up in here somehow, got in there. So we mitigated that. We got it back to where she's in the bottom box, and these are all honey supers. Hopefully they'll draw them out and finish them up for our harvest. It still looks like a strong colony, a very strong colony. We got 4 splits out of it, and we know that these top box and many of these have lots of honey in it. So that's what we did when we inspected the mega colony. We still got a bunch more colonies to look at today, but I wanted to share that one with you because that's what happens when you don't inspect a colony every 7 to 14 days during the spring. You kind of things get mixed around. You always want to go in your colonies. You want to look for bee volume. You want to look for queen right or eggs, brood in all stages, volume of bees. Do they have stores? Are they bringing pollen in, nectar in? And then are there any pests? You know, pests is a whole other discussion, but I didn't see a single small hive beetle, a single wax moth. I'm sure there's varroa mites in here. I'll have to do a test on that. But the fact that there was a brood break now in the bottom and there was brood in the middle, perhaps the foragers coming in that were filling up these bottom supers were actually not bringing the mites into the brood's nest. Could be a way to help prevent or mitigate the actual infestations that we get with mites and such, you know, what beekeepers get. So interesting. Lots of things to learn here, lots of things to share. We're always learning here at the Bohemia apiary, where beekeeping is definitely more than a hobby. It's an obsession. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, hit the alerts button, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever your social platform is, follow us there. We share a lot of information for you to follow us here at Bohemia Apiary. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.